Hey, what's up? As you might have noticed, we have a different background. I am currently on vacation in Florida. I'm a little out of character, but I figured why not? It'd be kind of fun to record the next video here, right? So bear with me on that. Today we're going to take a look at Haiti, and specifically we'll be looking at 5 islands. This is to continue the project of looking at specific things within a specific country instead of the whole country overall, as it's easier to focus. So with that, let's dive right into the 5 islands of Haiti that we're going to discuss. We will begin with a very small, uninhabited one. Navassa Island is the furthest one away from the greater Hispaniola Island that Haiti and Dominican Republic are located on, where nobody lives, being roughly 8 square kilometers in area. Situated between Cuba, Jamaica, and Haiti, it's actually one that's disputed with the US. They've tried to claim it since 1857 due to its guano deposits coming from the Guano Islands Act, because it wouldn't be a US dispute if it didn't involve taking resources, am I right? Due to a technicality of Haiti never naming the island, the US tried to claim it as theirs. Haiti's claim goes back to the Treaty of Ryswick in 1697, which saw French establishment on the mainland. Alright, enough of that. Looking at it today, its terrain is raised coral and limestone surrounded by white ring-like cliffs. The only real notable structure is the Navassa Island Light, erected in 1917 and then remained active until 1996. With there no longer being humans inhabiting the island, it made a great place for scientific expeditions. It would become a national wildlife refuge in 1999, thanks to the preservation of Caribbean biodiversity. Nothing else, you might find Haitian fishermen camping on the island. Some of the protected wildlife here includes herds of the red-footed booby, white-crowned pigeons, several endemic lizard species, and of course the coral reef ecosystems. Much of the island is forested with several different species of trees, including the poisonwood and the pigeon plum, and the elkhorn coral was discovered in 2012. What that is basically a rare Caribbean coral resembling elk antlers, hence the name, which are important for reef building in the region. Shifting far closer to the mainland, you will find the Île à Vache. Oh great, French words. This one being the nation's 3rd largest island. Translating to Cow Island, it lies about 10 kilometers off of Haiti's southwest peninsula, being 13 kilometers long and 3 wide, with a population of roughly 15,000. It got that name because it used to have a large population of cattle that roamed there. Could you believe it? Here's where you'll find the history around the infamous Captain Morgan, as he led several buccaneering excursions in the area. After his crew captured 2 French warships, it said that their drunken party around it from firing cannons during a pig roast caused an accidental lighting of the gunpowder magazine, blowing up the flagship HMS Oxford. The island now serves as a commune and is also a very popular tourist destination, ranking high in the world's best beaches and scenic views. It's also very untouched and somewhat isolated, allowing for all sorts of nature untouched by human civilization. The 2 resorts, Port Morgan and Abaca Bay, have had very little impact on the population and the raw beauty itself. Westward, the island has rolling hills and swamps within the valley, and on the east side contains a large mangrove forest. There are also large roads connecting the smaller villages, such as the one from Madame Bernard to Bois Breton. I'm gonna assume I pronounced that right. Strangely, I don't think it accommodates cars. And there's even an airport named after the island. French-Canadian Signor Flora actually founded an orphanage in the former, likely being the best-known personality on the island. Now, as far as the commune itself goes, Haitians founded this around 1930, drawn in by land cultivation and fishing. It wasn't always forested. First city center Catholic church was built in the 1940s, bringing out even more people. Before all this, there were settlers that arrived by boat in the 1700s, founding the village of La Hatta. Bernard Koch is an important figure from the 1800s, though he may not be seen in high regards. Essentially, he got permission from President Abraham Lincoln to set up a cotton plantation here, and he made his own currency that the workers could use to purchase from his shops. Kinda sounds like slavery, huh? Returning to look more at the land itself, like the forest, a lot of the coastline is full of mangroves, a tree that has adapted to take in extra salt, allowing them to grow in regions that would kill a lot of other plants. There's even a large lake surrounded by this. Fruit trees like the coconut, almond, and mango trees are also a common feature on the west side of the island. No permanent rivers exist, however, there are plenty of small streams in the wetter regions to be found. There are also no real ports, but boats pass by quite often, and speedboats are often used to reach the island. Townspeople here are said to be very friendly and enjoy sharing the island's folklore. Now, let's hop northward for the next one. Les Caïmites is actually 2 islands right next to each other, aptly named after their sizes, being the Grande Caïmite and the Petite Caïmite. Actually, it's probably just Grande Caïmite. I don't know, French messes with me. Oh boy, Nick, you lied. That would make the 6 islands, wouldn't it? Yeah, I guess, but the petite one really has nothing to it. I mean, there are a few buildings and a lot of trees, but you'll find that one the Grande Caïmite as well. The pair are located in the Gulf of Gonave, making up a total of about 45 square kilometers with a population of only around 5,000. Much of the population here is Afro-Caribbean with a Creole-based language. There are several smaller villages on the large island, one that even faces the smaller one known as Point Sable. Some other coastal ones include the very white sandy Anse du Nord and the Anse et Macon. Further inland, you will find Palmiste and Mer Citron, all of the understandably being very rural. Like other islands in the area, the crystal clear surrounding waters give a very appealing look. Unfortunately, this island yields far less history than the prior two, or maybe that's a good thing. You decide. And the terrain itself is similar to what we've already discussed, so with that, we will move forward. Okay, so I might have pronounced this wrong earlier, but I guess there are several pronunciations for this next one. It's Ganje, Yonave, Gonave Island. I don't really know. I guess pick whichever one makes sense to you. That takes us to the far larger island, one that's closest to Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince. The surrounding gulf is named after the island, as I mentioned earlier, and the island's population is nearly 87,000. On the other side, you'll find the St. Marc Canal. Indigenous Taino people called this island the Guanabo Island, and this is where the last remaining people groups after European invasions fled. Because of that, many escaped slaves from the French period and other native refugees sought out the island. They'd make it here, and then itself didn't become part of Haiti until the Constitution of 1801. Fun fact, there was once a king named Faustin E. Workus from the United States in 1926, known as the White King. Being the largest island around Hispaniola, the island has a total of 743 square kilometers with a dense population of 126 people per square kilometer. Oh, and who would have guessed? It's an ideal tourist spot for sandy beaches and clear waters. Never would have seen that coming. The soil itself is rich in limestone as well as iron in the northern regions. Most of the fertile soils lay by the Plan de Mapao, named after the vast mounds of Mapao trees. Speaking of trees, it's actually, unfortunately, one of the most deforested islands in the region and has a bit of a water scarcity problem. Hey man, why don't they just use water from the ocean? Some animals that reside here are the lesser sharp-nosed tree snake, the Hispaniolan stout anole, and the ashy spiro. There are also some beautiful freshwater springs, and you can see the deforestation on some of the hillsides. The island is often called the poorest of the poor, with much of the population being unemployed and living off of farming peanuts and corn. An idea for economic prosperity has sprung for independence from Haiti, and a case has also been made for making it a special territory. However, that's never been ratified or anything like that. There are also actual docks on the island, which were damaged in the 2010 earthquake, causing for the need of airlifting supplies. Man, they just really got a bad hand. Let's close off this short video with my favorite island. Tortuga Island, or La Tortue, translating to Island of the Turtle, named by Christopher Columbus due to its shape protruding out of the water like a turtle shell. Such an appearance likely came from the fact that it's part of a separate tectonic block apart from the rest of Hispaniola. It's the northernmost island, another longer one at about 180 square kilometers with a population of around 26,000. This is also a major hub for the 17th century Caribbean piracy and is one of Haiti's most recognizable regions. Many pirate-related things found in pop culture were influenced by this, including the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise and songs by bands like Styx, Running Wild, and Hailstorm. Originally, it was settled by the Spanish and later the French, which led to the Buccaneers, made up mostly of French and English, to begin the Brethren of the Coast. They would build coalitions to sabotage settlements of the French and the Spanish, and it's said that oftentimes escaped slaves and other outlaws would join their ranks, although it is a little difficult to confirm all of this. Legal blows in the late 17th century brought it to an end, causing the decline of the Buccaneer era due to foreign ships being unable to sail around the island. In terms of the island's geography, it's very mountainous, especially in the northern region, which didn't allow for shipping ports to be built there originally. This region was described as inaccessible and nicknamed the Iron Coast. Because of that, much of the population always resided on the southern side of the island, including the geographically important lowlands. On the western side of Tortuga Island, you can find their salt pools and the Point Quest Coast beaches. Now, would you have ever guessed that it was good for snorkeling and scuba diving because of its clear waters and white sands? Looking back into the pirate lore, in the southern side of this island, you will find the Fort de Rocker, a ruined building from the era. It's a massive fortress located on the Basse Terre on the southern coast. This is where legislative decision-making often took place, which stressed the equal share of revenues and individual rights. Offshores, divers can also find plenty of shipwrecks, and the beaches are pretty ideal for fishing as well. It's also said that there are many caves to explore. Oh, and watch out for the sharks. You may also encounter spinner dolphins and manta rays. Should anybody want to actually explore the dense forest, there are tour groups and a zip line that can take you right to the forest floors. Tobacco production has always been a large source of income for the island, which eventually gave way to sugar growing as farmers got more familiar with the land itself and how to till. This modern commune does not share any borders with other towns and is made up only of 2 provinces. Livestock is also an important economic feature, and the island benefits from the trading of food due to how arable the land is. Another common source of income is building boats. Infrastructure isn't very strong, but a lot of the unpaved roads do connect the villages, and motorcycles and taxis are used to get around. In the Aux Plains, maybe all plains, it's not uncommon to also travel by donkey. Bahia is also one of the widest bays, which helps accompany larger ships. St. Miguel College and the Notre Dame School allows for education on the island. However, that isn't really developed and not all citizens see it as important. Religion also plays a rather large role in the culture, thus there are over 40 Pentecostal temples. And with that, we will conclude this video. As I said before, I'd like to continue doing themed videos like this to focus on smaller parts of a country to give more detail. Hope you like the different scenery. Hopefully the audio wasn't too bad. I don't think it's that bad. And like always, feel free to leave me some feedback. Did you like it? Thumbs up. Did you hate it? Thumbs down. And don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button. I will see you next time.